An attack tonight on two candidates for Evansville City Council by the former chairman of their party. Just days before Election Day, some Evansville residents are receiving flyers in their mail urging them not to re-elect two longtime city leaders. Those flyers don't just tell people not to vote for the candidates, they accuse them of wrongdoing and in one case make a major accusation. The candidates are Democrats Jonathan Weaver and Missy Mosby, and the person behind those flyers, the former chairman of the Democratic Party, Scott Danks. Many people began receiving those flyers in the mail today. The one focusing on Jonathan Weaver says, "Don't elect this animal." But it doesn't stop there. The word abuser is written across his face. The other focuses on Missy Mosby. It claims as a councilwoman for the 2nd Ward, she has done little for the people she serves, but goes on to say she's done a lot for herself. Along with a picture of Mosby, there are pictures of a Hummer, a boat, and a Camaro. We reached out to Scott Danks today. He confirms to Eyewitness News he authorized and paid for the flyers. He wasn't available to talk on camera tonight, but promised to sit down and answer our questions tomorrow. Missy Mosby tells us she wants to talk to her attorney before making a comment. She did, however, post on Facebook about the flyers, calling them sleazy and disgusting. She says the boat and vehicle shown on the flyer belongs to her boyfriend. She goes on to write, "I believe Evansville is better than this, and voters will not stand for lies and sexist attacks." We also contacted Jonathan Weaver. He was out with his family for Halloween and also was not available to comment. The timing of this just days before Election Day. And again, Scott Danks says he will talk with Eyewitness News tomorrow.